Hello, friends. This is Jeffrey Birchfield coming to you from just outside Beckley, West Virginia. This is my test show, and I hope you enjoy it. And we're going to prowl through some songs to play for you. First one is going to be by Cecil Surratt, and it's called Alone with God. It's very pretty. And for those of you that don't know Cecil Surratt, or at least don't know who he was, he's passed away now. He came. He was raised in McDowell County, West Virginia. I think somewhere near Welch. I could be wrong about that though. I don't know the exact details, but he was very popular on the TV and radio stations in the area back in the day, probably in the 1960s and 70s or so. So, first off, we're going to do the song Alone with God by him.
The day is gone, the night is here. I have peace of mind, for Jesus is near. Cares of the day have vanished from sight. I know He's with me in the night. Alone with God in the night. Alone with God till daylight. A vision He gives me of hope true and bright when I'm alone with God in the night. Until the dawn, once more I see, I know my Lord watches over me. He gives new strength to face daylight. Alone with God, He makes things right. Alone with God in the night. Alone with God till daylight. A vision He gives me of hope true and bright when I'm alone with God in the night. When I'm alone with God in the night.
Okay, that was Alone with God by Cecil Surratt. Next one coming up is Happiness Hill by James Monroe, and James was the son of Bill Monroe. I haven't heard anything about James in a long time other than this one album, and I'd like to say this, that it's not necessarily a gospel song. but I believe it really gives you a good idea of what we got to look forward to. So I'm going to share it with you on this test show.
I found a place called Happiness Hill, where a songbird sings and there's an old whippoorwill. Now come take my hand and tell me you will. Come go with me up Happiness Hill. Come go with me to a place that I know, where the dogwood blooms and the wild roses grow, to a place that I found where it's peaceful and still. Come go with me,
come go with me
up Happiness Hill. This place that I found in the heavenly sun, where the good, not the bad, all walk as one. Now come take my hand and tell me you will. Come go with me up Happiness Hill. Come go with me to a place that I know, where the dogwood blooms and the wild roses grow, to a place that I found where it's peaceful and still. Come go with me,
come go with me
up Happiness Hill. Come go with me,
come go with me
up Happiness Hill.
All right, and that was Happiness Hill by James Monroe. He's the son of the late Bill Monroe, in case you tuned in in the middle of the song. And the next song we're going to do is, I got to look it up, but it was a very good song, and here is Sweet Miss Sarah Jane by Don Reno and Bill Harrell.
Sweet Miss Sarah Jane was a poor dirt farmer's daughter, worked in the fields till her back was sore for the money the cotton would bring. She only had what the good Lord gave her, and she sang in church on Sunday. The preacher said the whole congregation came just to hear Miss Sarah Jane sing. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. Now a highway came right through her farm, and she had to move to town. She wore a flower sack dress that her mama made. Everybody put Sarah Jane down. Working in the fields was all she knew, and she couldn't pay her board. So Sarah Jane started singing on the corner in the army of the Lord. When the road is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there. She wears a little blue bonnet, the prettiest thing you've ever seen. People passing by digging deep in their pockets and filling up her tambourine. Then a man said, I'll make you a star, when he heard Miss Sarah Jane sing. She said, I'm happy working for the Lord, fame's not everything. Now give me that old-time religion, give me that old-time religion, give me that old-time religion, it's good enough for me. Now give me that old-time religion, give me that old-time religion, give me that old-time religion, it's good enough for me.
Alright, that was Sweet Miss Sarah Jane by Don Reno and Bill Harrell. I hope you enjoyed that. Next up is a recording that I got from someone that inspired me to do these radio shows. He's been doing these kind of shows for a long time online. His name's Kurt Atkinson, and we're going to hear from him for a little bit, and then we're going to hear the song called The Apple Tree, or The Apple Tree Story. I'm not really clear on the name of the song, but it's a very good song. I hope you enjoy it.
Let's send a song down to Beckley, West Virginia, down to Jeffrey Birchfield, who lives down there. A great collector of the old-time gospel music, and bluegrass gospel, and gadgets and nostalgia stuff, all that good stuff, electronics. He's just a collector of all that good stuff, and we call them precious memories. So, Jeffrey, here's the song that you want. It's the gospel singers doing The Apple Tree Story, a very beautiful recitation. Listen this morning. I hope you're blessed by it. And thanks, Jeff, for the conversation. Yes, we appreciate talking to you.
Something very wonderful happened to me. A minister had just closed a revival in a huge Midwestern city, and he stepped on board a train on his way home. While on the train, he sat down right beside a young boy. A few miles had passed by, and he noticed the young man was troubled, and he had tears streaming down his cheeks. He said, "Son, I can see that you're troubled. And son, there's something bothering you." He said, "I just want you to know that I'm a preacher, and I'll try to help you." in any way I can. Well, through the tears, the young boy proceeded to tell this story. He said, "Preacher, it was about 2 years ago, as I recall. I had gotten so mean at home that one day I went so far as to strike my daddy with my fist. Preacher, just a few hours had passed by, and Daddy called me into the house. And he said, 'Son, you've broken your mama's heart right in two.' He said, 'I don't know what it is that we're going to have to do.' He said, 'Son, I'm afraid the only thing that there is left is to just ask you to leave.' Preacher, for 2 years, I've wandered out in this world. I've done everything and I've tried everything. And I guess I've been most everywhere. But thank God, about 3 weeks ago, I was traveling down a little country road. And I just happened to pass by a small country church. I noticed they had services taking place. So I went in and sat down right on the very back row. And that night the preacher stepped in behind the pulpit. And he opened his black Bible and he began to preach. Why, it wasn't long in that message he began to tell me that Jesus loved me. He said no matter what I had ever done in and with my life, that if I would just get out of my seat and come and pray, he said the Lord would forgive me and take my sins away. Why, preacher, he said that the Lord would take my sins and cast them as far as the east is from the west. Well, I got up out of my seat that night, and down to the altar I went, and I asked Jesus to save my soul. And it wasn't long, his big nail-scarred hand reached way down. He forgave me of the life that I had lived and what I had done. He gave me a new start in life. And now, preacher, the reason that I'm sitting here on this train is because I'm going home. I'm headed back home to see my dear old mom and dad. Preacher, I'm so homesick. Well, the preacher looked at him and said, "Son, you've been gone for 2 years now. How do you know that your mom and dad will forgive you? Son, how do you know they'll take you back?" Well, preacher, I thought about that the other day. So I wrote home and told my dad in a letter what Jesus did for me. I said, "Daddy, you may not believe it, but the Lord saved my soul. And he sure changed my way of living." I said, "Daddy, I'm not the same boy that I used to be." I said, "Daddy, I want to come home." You see, preacher, we've lived beside these railroad tracks all my life in a little white house. And standing out behind our house is a great big apple tree. And I knew that Dad wouldn't have a chance to write me back. So I told Daddy the day that I would be passing by the house on this old train. And I said, "Dad, the only way that I have of knowing that you and Mom have forgiven me is to just go out back and take the ladder and get up in the top of that big old apple tree and tie a little white rag in the very top." I said in that letter, "Daddy, I'll know by that you've forgiven me, that I could come back home." You see, preacher, for the last few miles, all I've done is thought about the hardship, the troubles, the trials that I've brought to my dear old mom and dad. And the reason that I'm sitting here with these tears in my eyes is because just up around the next bend there is where I live. And I'm afraid Mom and Dad won't forgive me. Preacher, I can't bear to look. Would you get up and just be so kind to look for me? I've treated him so bad, and I just hope he'll take me back. Well, the preacher got up out of his seat, and he pulled the handkerchief from his pocket. And as that train rounded that bend, why, he began to dust the window off, and he began to look out across the fields. Why, it wasn't long. He saw that big old apple tree, and he turned around with a great big smile on his face. He said, son, you don't have anything to worry about. Why, that old apple tree's in full blossom. There's white rags hanging all over that tree from one end to the other. And son, out underneath that tree, I see a gray-haired old mom and dad, and they're waving a big white bedsheet. And it looks like they're saying, come on home, son. Come on home. Well, glory. That's just like my God. No matter how mean we've been, no matter what we've done, no matter how low in the pit of sin we've ever gone, I've got a God that can reach to the uttermost. I've got a God that can save the lowest sinner. I've got a God that can save you tonight. I've got a God that can take you from where you're at to where you ought to be. Children, I'm so glad that when I didn't have a thing to offer, no talent, no abilities, no money, just a teenage boy that was away from God, I'm glad the grace of God saved my soul. And I'm glad that every born-again child of God one day will hear the Lord say, after He opens that big Lamb's Book of Life, He's going to look at every redeemed child of God, and He's going to say something that's going to sound like this: welcome home. Welcome to heaven.
And there you have the Gospel Light Singers and the Apple Tree Story. Very, very beautiful recitation. A great message there. And I hope Jeffrey Birchfield down in Beckley, West Virginia enjoys that as I dedicate it to him this morning.
Gets more wicked every day. The good maker who created it won't let it stand this way. This world can't stand long. Be ready, don't wait too late. We should know it can't stand long, or it's too full of hate. This world has been destroyed before because it was so full of sin, and for that very reason it's going to be destroyed again. This world can't stand long. Be ready, don't wait too late. We should know it can't stand long, for it's too full of hate. If we'll only give our hearts to God and let Him lead us by the hand, with nothing in just beyond the burning sand. This world can't stand long, be ready, don't wait too late. We should know it can't stand long, for it's too full of hate.
Okay, the last song I featured was This World Can't Stand Long by Wilma Lee and Stoney Cooper. And the next one I'm going to feature is, I think, is a wonderful companion to this song. It's called What's the Matter with This World, and it's also by Wilma Lee and Stoney Cooper. I hope you enjoy it.
Too much sinning, not enough praying. That's what's the matter with this world. You've been awaiting to stop your sinning. That's what's the matter with this world. There's a question we daily hear, no one seems to know. What's the matter with this world? The precious old Bible says sin will have to go. That's what's the matter with this world. Too much sinning, not enough praying. That's what's the matter with this world. You've been awaiting to stop your sinning. That's what's the matter with this world. Now this rumor we hear, another war we fear. Revelations is being fulfilled. Your soul's on sinking sand, the end is drawing near. That's what's the matter with this world. Too much sinning, not enough praying. That's what's the matter with this world. You've been awaiting to stop your sinning. That's what's the matter with this world.
All right, I hope you enjoyed the last song. I'm going to finish my first show with a very upbeat number, and it's When My Time Comes to Go. It's also by Wilma Lee and Stoney Cooper. And yes, I am a pretty big fan of Wilma Lee and Stoney Cooper, but maybe we'll feature some different things in the next show and go from there, pretty much, you know. So for now, I'm going to say thanks for listening and God bless, and I hope you enjoy this next one, and hopefully I'll get to do another show soon.
see. But I fly away on wings of love when he comes after me. When my time comes to go, when my time comes to go, I want to lay my head on Jesus' breast when my time comes to go. Say, well done, a faithful servant you have been. There's a crown of life waiting here for you if you will come to him.